Let's explore transrational consciousness as the ultimate trip. Our friend, well, the prison cell of the rational, or the rational, and its limitations can feel like a prison cell. Let's dispel numerous preconceptions. Let's begin with Freud's assumption. Freud, our favorite Viennese cocaine addict, insisted that neurosis was irrational irrational emotion. However, what has the limbic system to do with the prefrontal cortex? They're different structures. The prefrontal cortex did not evolve to debate the limbic system. It evolved to calculate and problem solve, and towards that end, it does a fabulous job. But trying to use the prefrontal cortex to control the limbic system is tantamount to using Waterford crystal to pound nails. How many times can you use Waterford crystal goblet to pound a nail? Yes, for exactly one swing. Is it efficient? Not at all. What happens when we use our prefrontal cortex to control our limbic system? Well, it reminds me of what the old Arkansas saying. Don't try to teach a pig to sing. It'll waste your time and annoy the pig. More than waste your time, trying to control the limbic system will exhaust the prefrontal cortex, causing you to present with symptoms of depression. Yes, we're capable of thought, but our brains are also capable of emotion, intention, recollection, and imagination. These are distinctly different functions. Who can forget Einstein's assertion? There we go. Whew. Einstein's assertion that creativity was intelligence at play. The playful mind, the irrational mind, is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it can be a good thing. How many great men and women of science, prior to their greatest breakthrough, felt as if they hit a brick wall, that they need to walk away from the problem and just be playful and creative. And it was only within the confines of creativity that the solution, or something that related to the solution, presented itself. Let's look at transrational consciousness through the lens of evolution. It has been posited that the earliest sentient entities were capable of perception, and then eventually they began recalling past perceptions and anticipating future perceptions, and thus it could be argued that we evolved to think symbolically. We evolved to think using the scaffolding of perception in various ways. Before we could compute, we could perceive. Giving ourselves permission to notice not only perceptions, but emotions, intentions, as well as thoughts, memories, and imaginings is crucial to intellectual and emotional well-being. And now let's explore my favorite facet, neuroscience and meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we access our sympathetic nervous system, found not within the 3 pounds supercomputer between our ears. It is ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It evolved not to support either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration. Instead, it evolved simply to notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Now, when we concentrate using this part of our brain, our blood seems to coalesce at our amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety. When we replace concentration with mindfulness, that blood mass seems to shift from the amygdala to our anterior cingulate gyrus, located just a centimeter or just a few centimeters behind our forehead. It functions as if it were the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy. Every time we exhale, well, let's jump back for a second. When we rely on contemplation, active contemplation, again, the blood mass collects at our cranky and anxious amygdala. But when instead of relying on our prefrontal cortex, we rely on a parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower lumbar region of our spinal cord as well as the tippy top of the cervical region, which has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Then that blood mass once again shifts from the amygdala to the anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy, the seat of love. Perhaps that is why the greatest Dzogchen Lamas of Tibet insisted that the highest love is generated spontaneously from mindfulness and emotion. Perhaps that is also why this meditational archetype is depicted as beautiful. Because that's the effect of love on our disposition. The function of our sympathetic nervous system is not to pick and choose, but thoughts to embrace, what flights of fancy to ignore. Au contraire, this has evolved to notice whatever comes up, to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. As we sit in meditation, we can notice all manner of things, the rational, the irrational. We could perceive all manner of things, the actual, the phantasmagoric. Similarly, we can recall literal things, or we can experience confabulations, the blending of memory and imagination. Our brain is capable of so many wonderful things. All we need to do is stop trying to dominate it. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, reverse engineering, and mastering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This morning, let's play with Kind Gaze's Easy Meditation. Seen through the lens of those who are rigid and fearful and controlling, kind gaze might seem like an entity to be worshipped or supplicated. However, when seen through the world lens, the world view of being flexible and loving and laid back, kind gaze is merely an archetype whose iconography reminds us that we are capable, we have the neurological structures necessary to master awareness and letting go, love and letting go, as well as bliss and letting go. For the entirety of this morning's practice, we're going to flip-flop between mantra meditation and silent meditation. So let's begin by reviewing the meaning of the mantra. Please chant with me. Om I invoke the wish of healing, Mani, jewel of love, and the purifying Pemi lotus of letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. We are invoking love, whose metaphor is a wish-fulfilling jewel. We can invoke letting go, whose metaphor is the purifying Pemi lotus of legend. For our first exercise, we're going to practice a form of energy work that we might train in the easiest form of bliss and letting go. The brass figure represents our own enlightened potential. This couple sporting in tantric union literally reminds us of the teachings and figuratively reminds us or symbolizes real or imagined energy that could collect either upon our head or above our head. As we breathe in, please silently and mentally. So here's the deal. The trick to transforming mere mantra recitation into actual mantra meditation is as follows. During the inhalation, please silently and mentally recite this italicized statement. During your exhalation, please physically relax as best you can, while striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. After a week or so, when you have completely memorized this mantra, you may wish to rest your gaze upon the word crown. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Having chanted the mantra 32 times, let us perform our first silent meditation. Our sympathetic nervous system evolved, not within the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears, but within the limbic system, within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It evolved to neither support either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration. Instead, it evolved to simply notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Well, if that's the case, and we're not supposed to concentrate upon our breath, then what are we supposed to do with our breath? Well, we treat our breath the way a piano student treats a metronome. When we notice our body breathing in, we can silently and mentally recite, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. When we notice our body breathing out, we can silently and mentally recite, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. So remember, the price of perception is vulnerability. Perhaps that is why this meditational archetype is depicted as naked. Now let us gently train in the outer set of preliminary practices. Please chant with me. Those who tread that path of Devadatta use the awareness of stress to frighten folks into an analog of morality. But upon this path of the Buddha, the awareness of other stress fuels our empathy. Devadatta, in lore, Devadatta was the Buddha's wicked cousin. And so Devadatta and Buddha kind of act as figures of yang and yin. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Those who tread the path of Devadatta use the awareness of causality to frighten folks into a form of moral code. But upon this path of the Buddha, the awareness of the end of interdependence reminds us of that her love could lighten others' loads. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. And those who tread that path of Devadatta use the awareness of impermanence to pervert a fear-driven practice, although upon this path of the Buddha, the awareness of change could fuel our wisdom of letting go. Om mani mimi yung, om mani mimi yung, om mani me me 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 yung. Those who tread the path of Devadatta use the awareness of the preciousness of our meditation opportunities to frighten folks into neurotic diligence. But upon this path of the Buddha, we joyfully flow from the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. For this silent meditation, during our inhalation, before we get busy, previously we looked at mindfulness. And in mindfulness, we notice all manner of things: sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. Additionally, we perceive emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Now, what do we do with all those things that we notice? We meditate upon them, but how does that work? During each exhalation, whether we know it or not, whether we mean to or not, we access our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower lumbar region of our spinal cord, as well as the tippy top of its cervical region. It has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. As we inhale, let's silently and mentally recite "sitting tall" to remind our body to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. During each exhalation, let's silently and mentally recite "relaxing." Now let's explore this whole letting go business figuratively. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever it is we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Perhaps that is why this meditational archetype is painted as if it was translucent and non-graspable as a reflection of the full moon in a basin of water. Now let us gently practice the inner set of preliminary practices. Together. In our empathy, may we long to free all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and confusion. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. In our pragmatism, may all liberation for all others be fueled by your reliance on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Rather than squander all time and energy and defensiveness, how much wiser could it be to learn from all mistakes and lessons that effortlessly flow from the centered spontaneity of mindfulness and meditation? Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. A life squandered in competition and greed leads not to peace and fulfillment. Better to live in cooperation and generosity. Add lives and may this mind shoot out crowns on. Takes you. Add lives and may this mind shoot out crowns on. Then offer all my stuff to all the beings of nirvana and samsara. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. During our inhalation, well, by means of review, when we rely on concentration and contemplation, our blood tends to gather at our cranky and anxious amygdala, making us pretty miserable. However, when we replace concentration with mindfulness, when we replace contemplation with meditation, our blood coalesces at our anterior cingulate gyrus, just a few centimeters behind our forehead, which of course is the seat of both of empathy and love and compassion. That is why the Dzogchen Lamas have insisted that the highest love flows spontaneous and in a spontaneous and uncontrived manner from the practice of mindfulness and meditation. Perhaps that is why this meditational archetype is depicted as beautiful. During our inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite to notice this, and during our exhalation, let us continue to recite the verb relaxing. Again, let us turn to energy work that we might train even further in bliss and letting go. Om mani mimi yung, 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 oh mani mimi yung, om. Mani mimi yung, oh mani mimi yung, om. Mani mimi yung, oh mani mimi yung, om. Mani mimi yung, oh mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Consider this gal the color of a cumulus cloud and how she appears to actively sport in tantric union. This reminds us that spontaneity trumps contrivance. Consider the passive manner in which our partner enjoys the same tantric union. This reminds us that not all spontaneity is created equal, and that scattered spontaneity is always trumped by the centered spontaneity that flows effortlessly as a byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. And as such, when our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, our lives could be as blissful as the real or imagined paradise of a Buddha of lore. As we inhale, let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And as we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Having climbed to contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker. And now let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized, and it is jealousy that is left over. Those who tread that path of deva taught to squander time and energy with contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony with all breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real or imagine kind gaze symbolized by a tikle one syllable seed or bija mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all relationships of all beings know be as joyfully loving as real, or imagine kind gazes communications symbolized by the six-syllable mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all bodies of all beings know enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist art, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Devi or Yadam and archetype of enlightenment such as Chenrezig. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon, as kind gazes real or imagined paradise, pure land of Avanti. So let's have some fun here and use the Sanskrit name. And take it from the top. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon, as all Buddha Ganteshwara's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Avanti. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Consider, if you will, this meditational archetype, known in Sanskrit as Samantabhadra, Samantabhadri, Karma Mudra, and in Tibetan as Kuntu Zangpo Yabhyam, and in English as All Good Mother and Father. How are we like them? We already have the sympathetic nervous system capable of practicing mindfulness, factory installed. We already have the parasympathetic nervous system capable of meditation, factory installed. We already have the anterior cingulate gyrus capable of empathy, factory installed. We already have all that we need to master the Buddha's path this year. Let's view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized and pride that is leapt over. Those who tread that path of devata are caught in the thrall of rigidity, confuse metaphors for literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain the metaphors as similes. As we inhale, we could notice all mind's perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they can feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined bija seeds in a ball of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Together, let's chant. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable of what is a real or imagined mantra of light. So we're using our natural physiology to get better and better at letting go. There's nothing wrong with noticing things, but to be healthy, we need to practice both noticing and releasing. Fortunately, we're already wired to do this care of our autonomic nervous system. But because of a quirk of evolution, our brain sometimes gets in the way. So what we're doing is we're harmonizing our brain with our autonomic nervous system. Now, the key to transforming a mere mantra recitation into mantra meditation is threefold. Number one, during the inhalation, we silently and mentally recite this italicized synopsis of the previous chant during our inhalation. During our exhalation, number two, we physically relax as best we can, while number three, striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Please give yourself a learning curve. Practice this every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two, this could be effortless. Once that happens, during this exercise, you can rest your gaze upon the capitalized word for added meaning. Together, as we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined archetype or yedam of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. Om mani mimi yung, om mani mimi yung, om Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung. So, although we are already wired to perceive during each inhalation, our brain can sometimes get in the way unless we give it a simple task, such as the task of silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Similarly, during each exhalation, we are already wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. However, once again, the Dennis the Menace of our brain can sometimes get underfoot unless we give it the task of silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Let us view whoops, that is an error. Let us view letting go through a philosophical lens as we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's Yoga of Inconceivability. All circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this body or form. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. All forms or bodies could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communication or speech. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. All interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this mind. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. So having chanted the mantra 32 times, let us now watch the play of mind as we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation. And let us relax into mind's non-graspable nature as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Let us bring the 5 body regions into the path of bliss and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imaginable city setable of green light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined Ranasambhava syllable thrum of gold light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever just we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined nakshobhya setable hunga blue light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever threat we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined Amitabha syllable free of red light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever chronoscope we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as not graspable as real or imagined Vadojana suitable loam of white light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us bring the 5 perceptions into the paths of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sight we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sound we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever scent we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever flavor we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sensation we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us bring the 5 mental poisons into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as mirror-like wisdom's clear void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we may have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as equalizing wisdom's primordial voidness. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever craving we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as descending wisdom's bliss void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as all-accomplishing wisdom's void intellect. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever confusion we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as all-pervasive wisdom's awareness void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us bring the 5 aggregates into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever body or form we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever feelings such as pleasure, pain, or other we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever appraisal of pleasure, pain, or of pleasure or pain's intensity or volume we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever impulse, such as pushing, pulling, or clinging we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever awareness of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, or imagination we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us bring the 5 thoughts into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever emotion we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever intention we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever cognition we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever recollection we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever imagination we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. The most efficient way to practice perceptive mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The most effective way to practice releasing meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Let us transcend the illusion of samsara and nirvana's vertical duality by metaphorically inviting all the real or imagined Buddhas, their paradises, and their denizens to dwell in the 84,000 pores of our skin, thus practicing the body mandala of duality's awareness and non-duality's release. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Oh, money, baby, yung, 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 oh, money, baby, yung. We come to this evening, take two. We come to this morning's final mantra meditation, where we bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us seal this morning's practice with the love that wishes for the universal mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all master change in wishing, love, as well as kind communication, conduct, and calmness. May all master the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity as well as mindfulness and meditation. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.